will now be recorded.
Order of superseding certain provisions of the open meeting law, general laws, chapter 30A, paragraph 18, and the governor's March 15th order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Harwich Council on Aging Board of Directors is being conducted by a remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Okay, that being said, I will call the meeting to order and ask for an approval of the minutes from October 7th.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The minutes from board meeting of October 2nd be approved as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I don't see that we have. Yes.
Can I actually have you do that by roll call because it's remote? I think that's one of the governor's requirements.
Okay. All those in favor? Joanne?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Janice? Oh, Janice. Yes. All right, and I approve them. So, okay. There we go. I guess we have a vote. I don't see anybody publicly here. Is anyone out there? No? Okay. Second with the members from Richard, I don't have anything to say, and I'm not Richard. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Emily.
Thank you, Carol. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you stepping in as chair today.
No problem.
I will try to go through things pretty quickly. So I did include in your packets kind of the October update through the end of October in terms of our core operations and our new programming and operations. So our focus continues to be on those essential services. Our lunch program is in the 65 meals per day window with about 85 unique individuals served at this time. We are noticing that some folks no longer have that need. They feel like they have a stable meal source elsewhere. So we're seeing more folks either drop down to fewer days per week or to be removed from the program entirely. I think that's a good sign that people are able to meet those needs, but we certainly have folks filling in behind them. So we're still at roughly the same capacity of 70, but at about 65 meals per day right now. Transportation, same as it was as my last update. Our capacity is still 2 passengers per trip on our larger 12-passenger van and 1 passenger per trip on the 8-passenger smaller van. Same locations. The only change for October was that we did bring folks to town hall either for early voting or to drop off their absentee ballots. We didn't have a ton of interest in that, but we wanted to make sure that that option was available and accessible to folks. And we actually didn't have anyone request transportation day of for yesterday. So we felt like that need to get to a polling location was met and that we were able to serve people to the extent that that need was identified to us, which was great.
Ongoing. Good morning, Justin. We came to order, didn't know you were coming. Okay, thank you, Emily. Go ahead.
So ongoing grocery pharmacy support. We're still partnering with the Family Pantry every Tuesday. They allow us to place orders in advance, and then we pick them up on the van and distribute them to folks at home. We've actually seen a little bit of an increase in demand for that service. It had previously been capped at 6. They've let us do up to 8 or 9. And we're very grateful to them for allowing that extra capacity as needed on our end. Programming, I think I mentioned at our last meeting that we had received a grant from Elder Services of Cape Cod in the Islands to do this creative outreach project was how they framed it to us. And we've created this kind of creative storytelling project. I listed it, I included the full November, December newsletter in your packet. And the description for that program is on page 6. So essentially, we're asking folks to submit something that captures their experience living through the pandemic. So it can be a journal entry, a poem, a picture. It can be something fun, a new hobby they've undertaken or mastered, a new recipe they've tried. So it's kind of a lean into both the highs and the lows and see how we've experienced this together as a community. So we do have submission guidelines. I'll be taking those submissions. It can be digitally or by mail. And we're really excited about that. So we'll be taking those submissions for the months of November and December and into January. And then at that point, we'll be compiling them into booklets and finding ways to distribute them to folks. So that's one of our new programming goals or projects. And then the other thing that's new, we are doing some holiday programming with immense gratitude to Linda, our chef. She has agreed to do kind of a full holiday meal for both Thanksgiving and for Christmas. So the Tuesday before each holiday, she's going to do a full warm meal. So for Thanksgiving, it's a turkey dinner, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce, the full works dessert. We worked with Megan Eldridge, the Harwich Health Director, to make sure we could deliver warm meals. So there are kind of additional restrictions and parameters to make that safe. So Linda has agreed to make up to 70 meals for both holidays, which is just really incredible. So we will be recruiting particularly drivers for the hot meals. Those have to get from our kitchen to those homes more quickly than cold meals do. So we'll be kind of gearing up for that. And then for the Christmas winter holiday one, we're also looking to solicit donations from the community. We'd like to put together the small gift bags for folks who are receiving that meal. We're still not sure if programs like the Be a Santa to a Senior program are going to operate through outside agencies, but we're trying to find ways to plan to fill that gap in case that gap does exist. So that'll be something we're working towards in the coming weeks. To put something, it's certainly not the same as getting together, as having something on site, but it is a way to bring just a small amount of normalcy and hopefully joy to folks in our community who could use it at this time of year and always. So those are some of our new programming updates. And then the other thing, and hopefully Justin's happy hearing this, I met with Justin and Leanne from the fire department last Friday, and we are kind of resuming a modified home safety assessment program. Our departments had partnered to do the checks where folks from the fire department check the smoke and CO detectors, and either I or the social services coordinator would go out and do kind of the, what are the fall risks, what are the other safety factors in the home. So it is modified. It's only going to be folks from the fire department, mostly Justin and Leanne, going out to do the smoke and CO detectors, and then referring back to us if they identify other risk factors or needs that we can help follow up on. But I'm glad that we can get back into folks' homes. This is an important time of year to be checking those detectors. So that's something we'll be pushing right now and in the coming weeks. So that's kind of where we are right now for programming and updates. I don't know if anyone has any questions or feedback on those parts before I jump into the next part of my report.
It's fantastic. Are you looking for any outside sponsorship of any of these programs?
So I think we will definitely be looking for outside sponsorship to put some of those gift bags together for the winter holiday and Christmas gifts. So we'll be looking either for donations or for financial support to buy those gifts ourselves. We haven't worked out all of the logistics on that, but I would say yes would be the answer to that question.
Okay. Will there be some publicity going out to that? Because I would think there'd be, a lot of businesses that would be anxious to support something like that.
I think so too, and I know I've talked to Carolyn Carey, the community center director, and she is probably the most experienced at putting on events that are almost entirely donation-based, and so she has a lot of really fabulous contacts in the community that she's willing to share with me or connect me to, and I know she's had just great resounding community support, and I imagine the same would be for our programs as well.
Super, great. That's wonderful, Emily. Super job. Thank you. Really, fantastic job.
Emily, do you have enough drivers for the warm meals for Thanksgiving and so on?
I would say no. We would definitely need more drivers for those. I think for our lunch routes right now, drivers are doing between 15 and 20 meals per day. They'll only probably be able to do 5 or maybe 10, depending on how close the delivery locations are, because of the speed needed to get the meals to folks once it leaves the kitchen. So we will be actively recruiting for more drivers for those 2 delivery dates.
Okay, I'll see if I can scare up.
Delivery dates, Emily.
Thank you. That is an excellent question. Let me pull that up. So it's going to be November 24th, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and December 22nd, which is the Tuesday before Christmas. So for these two programs, we are canceling our normal lunch for that day, and we are notifying lunch participants. They're certainly eligible to sign up for the holiday program, but they won't automatically be in the holiday program. We do want to reach some new folks and also the folks who are receiving lunch. So it'll be a little bit more broad than the lunch program, but making sure we're reaching folks.
Okay, about how long is the time commitment for that? Just in case somebody asks.
I would say probably an hour to 90 minutes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So that segue, if anyone else has questions on the holiday programs, I'm happy to answer those, or I can segue kind of into our broader volunteer needs and goals. All right. So again, I just kind of, I'm going based on our newsletter. So the volunteer information is on page 11 of the November-December newsletter. You can see that we're really looking for both lunch drivers, that's kind of a continuous need for us, and for folks who are more tech savvy. So anyone who wants to help us with the remote programming endeavors that are kind of always at the forefront of our mind, but seem to be lagging in terms of our actual rollout. And then also for anyone who might be interested in helping us update our website. Our website is woefully out of date, but again, is kind of always on the lower end of the to-do list when we're trying to meet needs. But we would love to update it. It's certainly an invaluable way of sharing information about programs and resources with folks. So if anyone is tech savvy, has that web background, the computer skills, if you know anyone and you want to put that word out, we would be thrilled to work with them, train them on how to use the website. It's something that could be done remotely, or we could set them up here in the building. So those, we're really trying to get some more of that tech-based help for our volunteer needs right now. And then the last part of my report, I am thrilled beyond words to let you all know that we finally have a fiscal year 2021 newsletter contract. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months in the making, but it is finalized. We will be working with Curly Direct, which was our fiscal year 19 and fiscal year 20 vendor. The price is actually lower per edition than it was last year, which is great news. The less great news is that our postage costs are going to be twice as high. During the procurement process, we learned that we had been paying the nonprofit postage rate, but are not actually eligible for the nonprofit postage rate. So going forward, we will have to pay the standard rate. For the fiscal year 21 town appropriated budget, I had only budgeted for the nonprofit rate. Very generously, the Friends of the Council on Aging did vote to fund the difference for fiscal year 21. So they gifted us with $3,000 to cover the cost difference for postage. I do plan to incorporate that cost difference in the fiscal year 22 budget cycle and hope that it will get approval during that review process. But with great gratitude to the Friends for them stepping up very quickly to make sure there was no delay in our being able to get that newsletter out. So that is finalized, signed. Our November-December edition has been sent to print. It was sent early last week. I don't think it has reached people yet, but it should be getting to folks at home very quickly. So we're very excited about all of those things. That's all I have for my report right now, unless folks have any questions, feedback, ideas, anything like that.
Okay, I think we ought to draft a letter to the Friends, formally thanking them for their donation, something signed by all of us. If we could have that, I think that would be great. Feel free to sign my name. I know it's kind of hard for us all to get together and sign it. So, but I think a formal letter from the board would be a good idea to acknowledge that.
Absolutely, I can draft that and send it around by email or for the next meeting. Absolutely. Okay. However we can work it out, be great. Yes. Maybe we don't all need to sign it. Maybe the fact that we voted to do it would be okay. So, can I have a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we send a formal letter of appreciation to the Friends of the Council for their generous donation of the postage for our newsletter. Are there any comments? Okay, can I have a vote, please? Justin? Yes? Angie?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Joanne?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So,
I'm just muted because there's a lot of noise at the fire station right now, so you don't need to
I
hear all that.
understand. Okay. Okay, is there anything further, Emily?
No, that concludes my report.
That's it. Well, you did a fabulous job as always. I don't know what we do without you. Absolutely amazing.
You are
Does
far
anybody
too
have
kind.
anything they'd like to say? Anybody want to participate? Anything from Joanne? Anything from Elder Services?
Yes. Let's see, the bidding process for Meals on Wheels has begun. There are off-Cape bidders, and so far 3 local companies are in the bidding process. Proposals are due this month. Current contracts have been extended to March 31st of next year due to the COVID constraints of COVID. Home care is pretty much the same. More in-person visits are now being done. They're also trying to meet on people's porches and decks, and they would like more of these outside visits when possible. Telephone assessments are still being done. There are 4 elder services workers on COVID leave because of childcare issues. They had an outreach program at the RMV, had a table outside set up, visible for outreaching the seniors who are waiting for their RMV appointments. And at the time this was said, elder services may do an indoor table, but I think with what's coming up Friday, that would not be done. Let's see, there'll be no meeting in November. The next meeting will be in December. They're going to combine both meetings. That'll be December 1st. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanne.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for doing that for us.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else?
Carol, if I could jump
Ellen.
back,
Sure.
under old business, we had the recognition of our volunteer of the year, and Janice
Yes.
wasn't able to join us today, and I just want her to get her recognition and appreciation. I know we've been talking since March about how to alternately recognize our fabulous volunteers of the year after we had to cancel, unfortunately, our luncheon, which I'm still counting down the days until we can bring it back. But Julie and I had been talking about, in particular, wanting Janice Bernabio, who joined us, and then Judy O'Brien was our second volunteer of the year. She unfortunately couldn't join us today, but we did have, small gifts from them. And I think one's on the table in front of Janice. She was very willing to join us today. She even agreed to say a few words.
Wonderful.
We're just so thankful for Janice. She's the stalwart of the front reception area. She runs an office like no other, and we would not be able to keep this place running so smoothly, especially under these very different circumstances without her. So Janice, if you'd like to say a few words about maybe why you started volunteering, any favorite memories, anything you want to share with us, I know I would love to hear it.
Oh, I've had
Please,
so
Janice.
many adventures since I've been here. I am just thrilled. I just want you to know, I was so excited when Emily told me I was going to get this award. It just meant the world to me. I was shocked because that's not me. I just do what I like to do, and this is great. I just love working at the Council on Aging. And when I retired like 6 years ago, I knew I had to do something. And I wasn't one of those people that had kids, so I'm like a nice aunt. But other than that, so that wasn't my thing. And I just really enjoy working with adults and older people. And of course, I don't think that's me, but I am. Totally.
Of course.
But this is just a joy to me, and I really enjoy it. I love it.
Well,
And I
that's
thank Emily for
thank you
giving
so
me the
much.
opportunity to do whatever I want to here in the nicest way.
Well, your service is certainly more than appreciated, Janice. Thank you so much.
I love
Really?
it.
Yes, that's
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Janice. And really, we will find a way to do this upright someday, but we didn't want you to go without your well-deserved recognition for any longer. So really, thank you.
Perfect.
Emily?
The flash Thanksgiving to my family.
I was just wondering if we could take a nice photo of Janice and put it in the Chronicle.
Ooh, I like that
Oh,
idea.
I like that idea. That's a great idea.
Janice, do you like that idea?
Necessary.
I think it's a fabulous idea. I want you to be recognized by a broad group. I love that idea. Thank you, Angie.
Really, thank you.
Oh, Angie.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Short meeting today. That's okay with me.
We ought to let you run all these meetings, Carol.
Pardon me?
We ought to let you run all of these meetings. They're
Oh, I
short.
know, I make it real easy for us. Thank you, Ralph. Okay, well, that being the case, then I guess I'll call the meeting for vote for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Joanne? Justin? Yes. Ralph?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I'm there. Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So much.
Thank you, Emily.
This
Bye-bye.
conference is no longer being recorded.